Welcome to Universal Man. My name is Mark Webb, and I'm here to help you unleash your apex potential. And today, I want to talk about Onlyfans and how I truly believe it is a form of female empowerment. All right, everybody, no doubt you've heard about Onlyfans. And, well, I guess if you haven't, what it is, it's kind of like a Patreon alternative where creators can sign up and basically create a paywall for their content. So, it's like, all right, you could subscribe to me and you pay $5 a month or 20 or 40 or $100 a month, whatever that creator sets it as, and then you get my exclusive content. But the thing that's unique about OnlyFans is that it primarily caters to adult content, particularly pornography, nude pics, sexual acts, that sort of thing. Because I guess Patreon purged, all their adult content creators, and they all wanted to go somewhere where they could charge money for their sexual media. The platform has gained a lot of steam because there's been a number of high-profile personalities, celebrities, and that sort of thing that have joined it. And essentially, the way I see it is it's kind of like digital prostitution made easy. If we're just going to be real about it, that's what it is. It's people, mostly women, selling their sexuality. Now, I think that this totally makes sense, and I think it's fair because I think that women should have a way to devalue their sexuality as easily as men do. And men have been way ahead in the race to devalue your sexuality. Internet porn has really done a number on men. And so it's only fair that women have their ability to do that as well. So let me explain what I mean here, all right? So we'll look at the guys first, all right? In times past, guys, they had to essentially develop themselves in order to live in harmony with their sexuality, all right? Because men, they naturally have a polygamist instinct, meaning that there is a part of the male sexuality that wants to have sex with as many women as possible. And this is just natural and normal. It's, part of what has allowed humans to survive and, reproduce and, overcome very harsh circumstances, right? And you can look into the evolutionary biology beyond it. And this isn't the only aspect of the male sexuality. There also is a strong pair bonding aspect or whatever. But the thing is, they have this polygamist instinct. And the way it's served society outside of, helping high status guys pass on their genes to many women, and more as society has evolved, that sort of dynamic led to a lot of instability because basically you'd have like the big king or the head honcho of the village. He'd have sex with all the women, he'd have them all. And then eventually all the other guys, they'd get pissed off and then there would be a rebellion and then there'd be wars and there'd be all kinds of stuff like that. So that whole thing couldn't go on for forever. And so a lot of civilization has been built around men learning how to overcome their polygamist instinct. And this does a few different things. Like socially, it allows for much more stable family units, with monogamous marriages where, people, men and women, they stuck together and that allowed them to work together to raise their offspring in the most stable way possible. And when you've got stable family units, that then becomes a strong kind of block that becomes the building blocks for the rest of society. But beyond that, the process of learning how to discipline the polygamist instinct within them, it trains men, it strengthens men. It is a part of, I believe, the masculine maturation process. And this whole thing has been screwed up in many ways by internet pornography because it allows every man today to carry around a virtual harem of women in his pocket. He never has to overcome his polygamist instinct. He can always kind of keep it going, even if he is in a committed relationship with kids or whatever. And I know there's a lot of married men with children out there jerking off. And weirdly enough, a lot of it's to teen porn. So the whole thing is, on that level, is just automatically pretty troubling to me. The worst part, though, is that it obviously has not helped our marriages, right? Divorce rates are crazy high. And I believe our society has really suffered from this. There's very little that's more damaging to a kid than their parents going through a divorce. It really hurts them. And I think that this in general, as this becomes more and more embedded in the culture, it's not a good thing. And at the root of it all is the sexual relationship between husband and wife. And so porn was really making guys look bad for quite a while now. In comes Onlyfans. And what Onlyfans does is, like, in the same way that internet porn caters to the polygamist instinct in men, Onlyfans caters to the hypergamous instinct in women. You see, women are different. They don't have the same sort of innate drive to sleep with a ton of men. Like, it's, maybe there a little bit, but it's not in the same way. Women instead, their instinctual, sexual programming is to try and find the highest status man. The guy who is most respected, has the most resources and this sort of thing. And this would allow her to basically secure the most resources for her and her offspring and safety. That's the kind of evolutionary idea behind it, because women, they can only have one child at a time, usually, outside of twins or whatever. And they're quite vulnerable, especially in the later stages of pregnancy and during child rearing. So having a strong, high status man with lots of resources, it makes sense for her to naturally be attracted to that. And the way that's translated into modern culture in a lot of ways is the women want the rich guy. They want the doctor. They want, the guy who's, proven to be dominant and he's not going to take crap from other people because it makes her feel safe and that sort of thing. Now, the issue is a woman overcoming that hypergamous instinct was part of her maturation process. If she settled down with a guy, then part of her, growing into the next, level of her development was letting go of the attention of other men, of learning how to devote herself to her children and her husband in a way where she can help nurture and cultivate them and, support her husband to be stronger and that sort of thing. And doing this, it moves her forward in the same way that a man overcoming his polygamist instinct moves him forward. It elevates him, right? It moves us beyond our baser desires and forces us to look at larger and more meaningful things. It forces us to connect more deeply to a more transcendent sort of love that goes beyond just the most raw sorts of primal itches we have. But OnlyFans, it allows a woman to keep that going, because now she can basically keep a virtual stock of suitors, her own little collection of simps who are willing to give her attention and money, right? And, social media has been kind of doing this for a little while, in terms of Instagram, aka Buttstagram, aka Boobstagram. That's, you're a pretty woman, you just keep showing pictures of yourself, you're going to keep getting likes and views, and then maybe you could sell products or get, sponsorships or whatever. But why deal with all that? Just go right to the OnlyFans and just, get the money that way, right? And so from that perspective, this is kind of evening the playing field for women. They can they can devalue their sexuality now, I think, as easily as men. Now, obviously, it's going to be a little bit difficult for women if they don't look the part. But, you could niche. You could get into some weird fetish stuff and still find your own little crew of simps who'd be willing to pay you. I'm certain of it. And I guess I'm personally very worried about where this will go. If this continues, if the push for normalizing sex work and stuff, it continues, people continually get more desensitized to sexuality as being kind of just like an everyday thing. It should be in everything. There's no sanctity around it anymore. Well, then where does this take us? Well, I think we're going to have almost every major celebrity and pop star having an OnlyFans. Why wouldn't they? Right? Be just an extra source of income, and it's almost going to be expected. I think it's going to be, you know, probably a significant number of girls when they turn 18, they want to cash in on all the nerds who sweatily stare at them, you know, in math class. They start an OnlyFans. And it's just like, I'm worried about where the norms in society are going, because none of this actually helps society. None of this is going to build strong families. None of this is going to build any kind of real like value in relationships. It's going to actually just lead to an almost like a scenario where the family almost can't even survive anymore, because the sexual connection between husband and wife is going to become so devalued. Sexuality is going to be something that is purely like a cosmetic and recreational thing that, you know, it's not going to become the glue that holds couples together through truly challenging shit. Like raising a family is not easy. I only have one kid and she's 2 years old. And like, it's already hard enough. I can imagine that as things get, you know, go further, if we have more kids or whatever, like it gets harder, right? And so it's like, you need to have a super strong bond between you and your spouse. And you're not going to get that when you're both like, you know, the guy is jerking off all night to porn and the woman's, you know, posting butt pics on OnlyFans. Like, it's just not going to work. I guess my point here is that this is not progress. This is degeneracy. And I'm calling you to be part of the force that resists this, that rejects this way of being, because our society is going to split. There's going to be people who go down this route of just insanity, as far as I see it. And then there's going to be a part of society, probably smaller, that clings more firmly to more traditional goods and morals and that sort of thing, and hopefully updates them so that they're even better and stronger. And, you know, one side's going to thrive and the other side's going to be a flaming dumpster pile. And basically I see these two sides splitting, and one side is going to thrive. You know, that's a big part of what I'm interested in, is I want to help guys be part of the remnant of society that learns how to use technology well and becomes the most powerful group of humans that has ever existed, with the the ability to leverage all this technology and really live wonderful and better and better and better lives. But then we've got the other side that's just going to be a dystopian nightmare. It's going to be sad. It's going to be really a big old hot dumpster fire, I think. So, you know, save yourself, right? Get out of it. At least get yourself out of it, right? If you're a guy, and I know most of my audiences are guys, like quit porn. Quit porn so that you can demand a girl that also is not in that culture. You know, you can demand like, well, I don't use porn, so I don't want your tits on Instagram. I don't want them on, OnlyFans. I want to have something sacred and meaningful and valuable. And you can hold yourself apart like that. But, you know, if you're in that culture, you don't have any ground to do that, right? So, and if you're looking for help on how to do that, then click the link below. Check out my reboot regimen, which is my guide on how to get started with quitting porn. It's a really great introduction. It gives you 3 big pillars that you're going to want to focus on, because it's honestly harder than it maybe sounds. And it only maybe sounds easy if you've never tried it. So check that out. But otherwise, hopefully you got something useful out of this video. Hopefully you at least enjoyed it or thought it was interesting. And if you did, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Otherwise, you probably won't see my videos. And feel free to share this with anyone who you think would enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Ooh, yap.